Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of VCTV. So, VCTV is the venture capital TV and it's from LATOKEN. And today we're going to discuss about early stage venture and seed investments. So, it's a very interesting topic. And again, we repeat these topics because of the sheer interest from the speakers and the viewers. Because a lot of early stage companies, a lot of companies looking for seed investments wish to know what are the best practices to raise funds, what are the best practices to reach out to an investor, how to do a pitch deck, how to do sort of interview with the investors, how to reach out to investors on LinkedIn as opposed to email. So there are a lot of questions around this topic when they're raising a fund round, raising a round for the very first time. Hence, we sort of host this topic more often than others. So today I'll be joined here by three very experienced speakers in this space who are going to share their experience, knowledge with us and our viewers and other speakers as well. So there you go. So welcome back, Vandana, Gary, and Kingsley. Thank you for joining me on VCTV. Before we went live, we are all discussing about COVID-19, the pandemic, which is back in India, and has taken lives of many people. Many people who are near to us, are dear to us, have been affected and lost lives. So we were having that discussion. That's very important. As Kingsley rightly said, we should have a discussion around that as well, so that our audience, our viewers, get to know what next can be done to avoid such a situation. Obviously, it can't be avoided. However, precautions needs to be taken. So thank you so much for joining me here on this panel. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the regional director of LATOKEN, and I host VCTV every day at this time. So yeah, let's just have a quick round of intro. I'm going to start with Kingsley Kobayashi from Kobayashi Group in Japan. Hi, Kingsley. Welcome back on VCTV. Kingsley, you are mute.
Thank you very much, Sonny. Hi to everyone today. First of all, I want to sympathize with those who are in India and other countries. My sincere condolences to those who lost their lives. I mean, our prayers are with them. Yeah, people will say there are conspiracy theories about coronavirus, but we can see it on BBC how people are dying and how people are being. There's not enough oxygen. There's not enough this, so we all need to take precautions. We all need to be really careful about our health. Wash your hands always. Remove your shoes before you get into the house. Take showers as much as you can with warm water. Don't drink cold water. Drink warm water with lime and lemon. These are simple things. What is most important is for you to boost your immunity. Once your immunity is highly boosted, your chances of getting it is low. And if you have it, well, I pray that you get healed on time. My name is Kingsley Kobayashi. I'm a serial entrepreneur, investor. I'm the founder of Kobayashi Group, among other companies, Hurricanes International, HBK Naturalist, a lot of companies. So I invest in startups, I invest in commercial real estate, I invest in blockchain-related projects. I also invest in traditional finance, depending on what you have, as long as it's going to be result-oriented. So that is how we look at things. There is no bad project. The best we can do is to make a project marry with another project and make it a better one for you. So don't be shy, reach out, and I look forward to talking with all the good panelists today. Gary is here, Tolani is here. Sonny is always making us smile, so that's a good one. Thank you, Sonny.
Thank you, Kingsley. And obviously, we need that kind of energy and encouragement from you. And rightly said, we need to discuss on this topic as well, especially focused on India. Thank you, Kingsley, for always being there and supporting VCTV and the speakers as well, the family, the VCTV family. Thank you so much. So, Vandana, thank you. Vandana, over to you. And how are things back in India? And how are you? And how's your family?
Yeah, thank you, Sunny, for having me here once again. I want to request all the global people to, pray to the universe to, all of us should come out of this situation. It's really, really bad here in India. People are really suffering, and it's not good to see people suffer like this, especially if you know them. You feel more bad about it. So my definitely, my request to all of us to pray to the universe so that the universe can aid us at this moment. Also, thank you once again for having me here. Uh, Sorry if I'm not sounding too energetic because there's lots happening here as well. Uh, yeah,
Don't worry.
so that's the thing. So I was in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years in investment banking. I had my own family office fund here. And this is my seventh year back in India. We did investments, and now I'm back to advisory. I'm connected with 300 investors globally. We pick up global deals. Ticket size is $1 million to $25 million, and we are sector agnostic. So feel free to reach out to us, and happy to discuss today's topic as well.
Sure, awesome, Vandana. Again, I would like to thank you for joining in the middle of such a chaotic situation in India, because news, scams, real news, fake news is difficult to make out what's going on there, because I have family back in India and they said that it's so disturbing. The moment you switch on your television, it's very disturbing about what they're
Sunny,
seeing.
not only television, the moment you just open your Facebook, it's all over Facebook. All my business WhatsApp groups have changed into COVID groups. It's so, like before we used to post about business or, stuff like that. Now, every second person, is there oxygen available? Is there this injection available? Can you please help with a bed in the hospital? It's just that. So it's like for me, like I don't even feel like looking at it. It's so bad. And even my children, if they get the slightest of things, I'm like, "Are you okay?" I'm getting panic and a bit worried also that what's happening. Like it's scary. We don't open our doors. We stop going for morning, evening walks because it's so scary. uh,
Yeah.
you know we are trying to disinfect everything all the time. So it's a very scary situation. It's not a happy thing. It should not happen to anybody. And I'm sure the people who are going through it, they know what's happening. I mean, they would know the pain more.
Yeah, I think Vandana, totally agree and really appreciate that you are here on the show today. Among what's happening around you, it's very disturbing, and in that situation, you are here still on VCTV. I think it's very important to stay strong. Besides staying safe and following the measures, healthcare measures that are in place, I think staying strong is equally important. And thank you for joining VCTV again. Thank you, Vandana. Gary, over to you, please.
Yeah, I just want to say, hearts, prayers and thoughts and love and everything goes out to people all over the world, especially India. Within the last couple of weeks, I lost my mother-in-law to COVID in Russia. So Russia's also got some challenges. So been through it. My daughter recovered; she had it, and so there's some hope. But the vaccinations are important, and just trying to be as cautious as you can. So hearts, again, our thoughts, our prayers, love goes out to all the people of India and all over the world that's affected by COVID. And let's, the good news is that, we'll get through this and the vaccines are out. A lot of people are getting vaccinated now. It takes some time for them to work and the antigens to develop, but it is making a dent. So, stay in, stay happy, and don't look at those groups. Watch some funny movies.
You're right. Gary is totally right. I think the immune system weakens when you are nervous, when you are.
Under stress. I mean, I'm a psychologist. I'll tell you directly. It's like you
Where
get
you are depressed, yes.
yeah, and Kingsley's the health food or health supplement guru. So you gotta stay positive. Don't look at this stuff. You
Yeah,
start going in a big circle going down, and you get so nervous you don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. It's just like the beginning of 2020, but it's less severe. but it's only India now, currently India focused. But it's just the beginning of 2020. People were like, they didn't know what were they doing, they're saying, and all the news media, it was all over the world. But yeah, so as Gary said, Kingsley said, just take care of yourself, stay strong, look good, look at funny movies, funny shows. Come on, VCTV.
Yeah, we like to see you. Come on.
We we are
TV
lucky.
make you smile,
We are
right,
lu-
King?
Yes, we are very lucky. We can talk to each other now. We can
Yeah.
laugh. But what happened in 1918? There was no smartphone in 1918. Yet they lived through it. So we should be happy that we have the technology to be able to talk to each other right now and smile here, and you can call your loved ones and talk to them. So technology is actually helping to take us to the next
Yeah.
level, and we should embrace it.
Yes, absolutely. And because of the technology, we are still connected through different corners of the world. Thank you
Definitely.
so much. Okay, so today's topic is about early stage investments, seed investments, early stage companies, ventures. So it's a very important topic because there are many startups who are at early stage, bootstrapped, and they're looking for growth. They're looking to grow to different rounds, grow to different stages of funding, probably go public or you know, IPO, public, a merger and acquisition. So, or become a unicorn. So that's the ultimate goal. Some of them have, some of them don't. But yeah, let's just start with the basics. So, what is the seed and pre-seed investment landscape looking like in 2021? So let's start with Kingsley.
Yes, thank you very much, Sonny. 2021 has been a good year for startups, despite the COVID-19. It has been a good year for them because with the COVID-19, a lot of opportunities have arisen for different kind of technologies, different kind of innovations, whether it's in the healthcare sector, it's in the education sector, it's in the agricultural sector or environmental sector. So there's been a lot of opportunities for startups to actually come up. And when we talk about startup and early seed, we are talking about people who have a good business plan. They already have a good business plan in place. They already have a good strategy. They already have their target market, but probably don't have the money to research and don't have the money to start up their investment. So early seed investment is very risky, very, very risky for the investor. And that is why investors ask for a huge amount of percentage of equity when they are starting, because the risk on their part is high. The business may never come to fruition. The business may never work despite your good ideas. So they need money for marketing, money for research, money for. Then you also have another kind of investment, which is they already have a track record, but at a certain time when they are about to break into the market, they don't have money. So all of a sudden, they don't have money, and it's just about to make it. So these are most SMEs face this problem, and we the investors are always there to okay, look at their track record, look at their data, look at what they have done, and then help them to move forward or partner them with another company that can help them forward. But 2021 has been a very good year for a lot of startups, and we've had about 22 to 25 unicorns this year alone, up to April, and most of them are from not just from America or Japan, they're from all around the world, which is actually very progressive because the use of social media, the use of Google, internet, and things like that now allow people to reach out to other companies in Silicon Valley, in Japan, in Singapore, as opposed to 20 years ago when these things were not available. When I started my first company, I didn't have these tools.
Yeah.
37 years ago. So they have the tools right now to work with, and they should embrace it. And I'm really happy with what is coming out.
Perfect. I think very rightly touched base on the points when it comes to seed, pre-seed investments. Thank you so much, Kingsley. Next, I have Gary. Gary, so again, what's the seed and the pre-seed investment landscape looking like end of 2020, beginning of 2021?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's not as easy as it was before because of the pandemic. They're looking for revenue, right? If you've got revenue, you've got the credibility, you've been a serial entrepreneur, you've done it before, the probability of getting funded is a lot higher. So, it's back to basics. One of the things that startups don't do enough of is customer development. They don't go out, they have an idea, product or service, but they don't really go out and test it. Does somebody really want to buy it? A lot of times they're technical entrepreneurs that found the companies and they just don't test their hypothesis. Does somebody really want to buy what I have to sell? So what I'm looking at is, do they have a customer, and are the customers really ready to grab it out of their hands, as Bob Dorff and Steve Blank and Eric Ries say? So that's what I'm looking for. Having gone down through and either invested in seed stage companies or raised money. I raised the seed round of $7 million, a 3 and a 4. I did it as seed 1 and seed 2. So it's out there, but you've got to have incredible ideas. You got to have something that really is going to put a dent in the universe. As you know, I'm into artificial intelligence and quantum. By the way, I have one of the top quantum physicists in the world on my show today in the afternoon. Prania Narang from Harvard University is going to be in. She's 31 and compared to the next Stephen Hawking's. So if you get a chance to check it out, I'm really excited. She's like my idol. Anyhow, quantum computing is really going to be important too. So if we're going to invest, look at areas that are really hot. Again, the population of the world's going to increase from 8 to 13 billion by the end of this century. We need to be able to look at technologies that can help us live better and longer. AI, farm tech 4.0, industry 4.0, smart cities, areas that are hot. They're going to be able to deal with a massive amount of data that we're going to have in front of us. Part of the challenge we have is not understanding the data, but exactly what the AI can do to be able to help us really in an unsupervised way, help us to be able to understand the data and act for us. So I'm looking at early stage companies that hit those areas: AI, quantum computing, Internet of Things. Those areas are really hot. And it's, as I said, it's back to fundamentals. Do you have revenue or not? It's very simple. If you have revenue, the risk goes way down. If you're a serial entrepreneur, my suggestion is for each one of those companies out there, I'd make sure that you have people that are in the company that have done it before. If they've done it 1 or 2 times, it takes the burden off the investor and makes them feel a lot more comfortable. So it's just it's an easier sell.
Yeah. So I know, Gary, that obviously known so far that you invest in early stage. So your team was in Africa. So what kind of companies, like in terms of what stage company did your company meet with? The startup, what stage were they in terms of investments?
I mean, they're all over. Like, it's not what you think, because you're talking about a robust opportunity that's, that many people don't know. It's like diamonds in the rough. So a lot of the companies early stage, a lot of them are fintech. They're surprisingly good at artificial intelligence. And I say that because I haven't heard about it before. It's like, and that's one of the reasons we went there. But you've got a very positive, optimistic group. We went to Nigeria, although we're dealing in Zambia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa now, and other places. But it's just so they're earlier stage companies, but that's not always the case. Look at Flutterwave, right? It's a unicorn now.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we want to catch them on the way up, the ones that are in hyper growth mode. And we've identified a few, by the way. They're incredible companies, incredible. Most of them are in the fintech space, but think about it. If you don't have the infrastructure, the legacy infrastructure, imagine the possibilities of what you could do, right? So if you really skip a step.
Yeah, good eye opener, Gary. Thanks to clarifying that, because I would have thought only early stage or seed, pre-seed, and startups existed. But yeah, good to know that. Thank you so much, Gary, for sharing that. Vandana.
Yeah, so definitely, Sunny, investments were happening before the pandemic also, during the pandemic also, and it will keep on happening. It's just that when these crises come in, it slows down, but it still keeps happening. Now, initially, what used to happen is that, investments would close over a dinner meet or a breakfast meet or, in a tea meet, and we would close it very fast. Now it's more of online and digitized, so we can close things fast. Um, Definitely, the promoter's background needs to be a bit strong. Maybe he should have, or she should have put some self funds in the company, and also have revenue, have the drive as to how to take the company forward. That's really important. Lot of investments happen in fintech, agri-tech, edutech, health tech, food tech, and definitely it has to be a disruptive model and investable. Also, the team is very important. It has to be, the team needs to complement each other. There has to be a proper marketing team, a finance team, operations team. It's very important that these things are taken into consideration before we invest in early stage and seed ventures. There have been investments in companies, that their technology was still not launched. They didn't have the customers as well, but because the founder's background was strong and they had self-funded a lot of money into that technology, it got invested. So yes, definitely investments will keep happening, and it will slow down, but it will continue happening.
Yeah, but I think revenue is still very important, right? For
Yeah, revenue is important. Uh, Not only that, is it a disruptive model? I mean, even if you see the revenues coming in, it's important because naturally the investor it's the hard-earned money of the investor, and he wants to see that multiplying, not
yeah.
like I think we had a talk few days back when Gary and I had discussed that some of the founders were using it to buy cars or using it for treating cancer. You remember, Gary? We had discussed that.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people go out and get funded, and it was unbelievable. They want a brand new BMW, and
yeah.
I couldn't even believe it. Actually,
Oh, wow. That's again
Oh,
owner
okay.
as well.
Then I need a new G5. Please donate, invest.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, it's like there's some unsophisticated startups. They got great ideas, but each culture is a bit different too. They treat the money differently. So, and if they're not educated and don't understand the liability that comes with doing something like that,
Yeah.
nothing good's going to happen.
A
Yeah.
BMW, that's a expensive investment from an investor's money.
Yeah,
Somebody else's money.
I mean, it's hard to believe, but the person that did it came from a very wealthy family, and the other guy the investor was, a high net worth individual. So it was a very peculiar situation, but it happens. There's a lot of strange things out there, but that's one of the things with, as we go down through the Zoom/StreamYard era, is how do you really understand who you're dealing with on the other side? So credibility. That's why I say serial entrepreneurs, if they have revenue, it makes you feel good to speak to their customers. Use your network just like we do on VCTV here to be able to vet them to see who they really are. In the situation, there are a lot of great startups out there that just needs one chance. I mean, it's, having gone through it with Click Software, it was a little tiny company from Israel that was brought over to the US. We brought it to Campbell, California, and it was called IET. Well, the rest is history. We changed the name of the company, et cetera, had a chance, and the company was sold to Salesforce for over $1 billion. So, there are diamonds out there. You got to find those diamonds, mine those diamonds, and really go out there and help them. And it's equally distributed around the world. The other thing is that's why, we go to Africa, and I'm 1/4 African myself, and 1/4 North African, Egyptian. So myself, my grandmother's born in Alexandria, and she's Greek Egyptian, by the way, and my grandfather's Greek. But so it's just mind those opportunities. Go where other people don't go. Look for where the talent is. When I first went to Russia, people said, "Oh, don't go to Russia, the KGB and all this stuff." And I went over to Russia. I found incredible scientists and engineers, and the rest is history, right? It's the same thing in Africa. So not just Africa, all over. Look for opportunities where other people don't go. India, right? And there's a lot of opportunities. It's just bridging the gap. It's about not being regional, but being global.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously, people would resist if you. I think Russia has a lot of talent. I would say personally, working with a company based in Moscow. I mean, it's before that probably I would have the same kind of opinion, but you're right. You rightly said. I mean, really go out to these kind of countries: Russia, Africa.
Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan. Go to places that the people don't go.
Estonia, all of them. That region is good.
Yeah, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. I lived in Latvia, and incredible talent. And each
Yes.
one of the but the thing is, the real key is who can bridge the culture gap, because there are vast cultural differences. I got to tell you, and how about it? It's from India to Singapore, Singapore to the UK, Sunny, from India to Singapore, Vandana, and Nigeria to Tokyo. I can't even imagine what that was like. Vast differences. I can tell you myself, traveling, living in Russia and Latvia and London, there's differences. It's who can accept those. And as we come into this new global era where everybody's going to be able to live anywhere and do anything and interact, you're going to have to be able to bridge those cultural gaps. And the other thing is, one of the reasons we use Silicon Valley as a port to the rest of the world. And as Silicon Valley now is rising again, the situation is there's a great opportunity because there's talent from all over the world there, and they share ideas. I can't tell you how many times I've walked down near Stanford to Palo Alto. I mean, I saw Sergey Brin with his kids over at Stanford. I saw Mark Zuckerberg at the Chinese restaurant, and Tim Cook. I talked to him at Starbucks. Right? It's just like you can't imagine. And so there is an opportunity to be able to connect with those kind of folks, with companies like that can share ideas, and also venture capitalists. So, we look at three pieces: multicultural, regionally diverse, and intergenerational teams, because you need that kind of experience. We talk about startups being these 20-year-olds, but in reality, today, it's really important to have the credibility to go in and say, listen, I've done 3 or 4 companies. Let me tell you about or 15 companies or whatever. Let me tell you what we've been able to do before. Let me tell you what we're going to do now. And when you do that, the investors, they're perk up.
Right. Great points, Gary. I think their credibility is very important. So I would like to know from all of you how to seek investments from a startup founder perspective during the lockdown, right? During this period, and how would a VC or an investor? So what are some of the tools and best practices that VCs have followed since 2020 up until 2021 to invest in such projects without meeting the founder? Okay, VCTV platform is introduction. Obviously, we introduce you to startups, but what after that? You have to follow from there yourself. Obviously, you have to do the due diligence and you have to close the deal, and your money goes to them. If I'm just putting my investor hat, and if I'm putting 1 million in a company I met through a Zoom webinar like this once, I would be like, thinking twice. I wish I could meet them in person, right? Because you're investing, putting your money on them. It's a tricky situation. It's much easier said than done, to be honest. So, Kingsley, how would you do that? Really?
First of all, the person pitching has to know his project. When you have the passion for your project, you understand your project. You can explain your project to me as if I'm a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old, and I understand it, right? I was actually talking to my son yesterday, and we were discussing artificial intelligence, and he was explaining to me what artificial intelligence is. I was impressed. Like, okay, it's all this data together, and I'm like, how do you know that? He's 11 years old, but he already knows that. He knows how to put that into context. So anybody coming to pitch to me about his project should know his project very well. Some people have very intellectual capability to put the things together, but they don't have the PRO capability to market or sell their project. That is why they need somebody to talk about the project for them. So I have seen a lot of good projects, but they present it in a very wrong way.
Yeah.
So these people should look for someone. You have the intellectual ability, you have the know-how, you have the technology, you have everything, but either you are shy or you don't know how to present yourself. So get someone that can present that project with passion. Because now that we cannot meet, we look into your eyes, we look at your passion for the business. There's people pitching to me, and they're like, you know what I'm saying? This day, I'm like, you know what? I'm not interested. But when you come and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, it's your body language.
Yeah.
Your body language tells me whether you will succeed or not. Then I also do my homework. I have to see who you are. What is the HRO team? What is the tech behind the project? If you are all doctors trying to do, you are all surgical doctors trying to do a Greek project, of course I will not put my money because I know you're going to fail. But if you are finance guys who have worked in different financial institutions and you are doing a digital payment system, I will look into it.
Right.
So it depends on. There's a lot of factors that you have to look at. Who is this person? Is this person really good at his business? What is the structure? What have they done before now? You go back and look at their story, at their history, and then you are able to come to a conclusion and say, okay, maybe this will work. But what I do is that if you are asking for 100,000, I will not give you 100,000. I will probably give you 30% of that, and see how you can work with it. And then when I see how you can work with it, and then I see your timeline, I see your projection, I see your track result, I'm able to invest more. So this is how we approach it from my side of the company right now, and see if they are able to do what they say they can do, and if just common sense, you can feel it.
Yeah. So I think you're right. You start with small checks first to evaluate the startup. Thank you so much, Kingsley. I agree to that point as well. Very rightly said. Again, Gary, you may have already, sort of shared this, but again, we don't see into the pandemic in the sense we can meet in person anymore that we used to do before 2020. Like the kind of meetings were like, many before we actually signed a deal, that was the norm. That was the business as usual for us, for all of us, without even, meeting that person probably for 100th time, we wouldn't sign any deal unless we have that complete faith. But now it's totally online. And this is practical. We are not only discussing this about the topic, but this is something that we're living it as well, as an investor yourself and as a founder as well. So again,
yeah, I mean, the situation is, you're right about online, but the digital transformation, McKinsey said that 93% of the companies were going through digital transformation a little over 2 years ago. And what happened in 10 years. It just so happens we had to do it very, very quickly. StreamYard was founded in 2018 in Vancouver, Canada. Zoom, look at Zoom, went from 30 million to over 400 million daily active users. So we were going down through this digital transformation, and it's really impacting all of us. And the investors have mandates. They got to invest. They have money. They can't let it sit out, and they don't want to miss opportunities. And at the same time, you got startups. So startups, on the other hand, they gotta write. They got to be looked at as industry expert. They got to do videos. They got to get their visibility out, because as soon as somebody said or starts to talk to them, they're going to Google their name. They're going to Google the name of the company. They're going to check you out. They're going to check through all kinds of databases. There are all kinds of kind of secret kind of databases out there. I'm not saying dark web, but I mean just where you can gather information about people that are in companies, right? You can do some due diligence on them. So you just got to make sure you got a lot out there, because they're going to check. What have you done? Is your LinkedIn profile updated? What, don't have a lot of bizarre pictures on your Facebook, because I do know people that check Facebook and other social media, Twitter and Instagram, and they want to see, are you at parties? Are you drinking? Are you this? Or who are you? Right? So make sure that everything that you have out there is that you feel comfortable. If somebody looks at it, that they're not going to get offended. So that's really, in a sense, managing your social media so your social media is not under control. At the same time, we have no choice. I mean, through this pandemic, we have to invest. That's why I look at revenue. I do due diligence, and with all our contacts here on VCTV, if somebody's in India or somebody's in Japan, I would check it out with Vandana, Kingsley, or yourself in Singapore. We go down through and just you got it. That's how it works. That's how VC's doing anyhow. By the way, I mean it's just the way it works. You just connect the dots. Here it's more important, but at the same time, look at the opportunities it's given us. We don't have to worry about COVID. We're online. We're still talking. So, even though we have vaccines, et cetera, you don't have to worry because here you are. You're not there. There's not a chance of getting anything because we're here, right? We're online. So that's the other thing. Safety is an issue. So use it wisely. The investors that invest during these pandemic times are winning in a lot of ways. It's just, it's a leap of faith. You got to move forward with it and not be let out. Get into the game, do it sooner than later, because in another year, you're going to be kicking yourself. There are so many great companies. There's a real a herd of incredible companies that are out there that need to be looked at. And so the people that are aggressive, we were just down in Nigeria a couple of weeks ago, so it's not just about talking about it, it's about taking action. Of course, we got vaccines, so my partner had both courses of vaccines, but here we are. So get out there, go get them, and don't let those deals go by you.
Yes, you're totally right. I mean, the liquidity is there. The investors have the money and they have to invest. And very rightly said. I mean, we on this platform, you, Gary, you're connected to Vandana, who's a VC in India, Kingsley, who is an investor in Japan, and obviously we are all connected on this platform. And yes, that is another efficient way to screen your potential startup if you are going to invest in that country.
Absolutely. That's what you're going to do. You use contacts. Business is a contact sport, and use your contacts to be. That's how the VC, that's in Silicon Valley, how we do it in Silicon Valley. It's all about relationship driven. People think it's about sending in a pitch deck and that kind of thing. I can tell you directly. I can tell you from this show. I can tell you I'm going to be on a panel of Latin America in a few hours. It's just the way it's done. It's about contacts. I can't tell you how many times, I've had people, we talk about deals just like we do here. We talk about different companies, what's hot, what's not, That's how I got SplitByte. SplitByte is from Raghu. So, it's a decentralized cybersecurity platform. So, of course, I trust him. We got involved in it. He knows the guy that started the company. We got involved in that company together. It's just because we have a trusted network. I wouldn't have done it because I don't know who he is. But with him, I feel comfortable. So, you use your network. That's how it's done in the Valley. That's how, when you get brought into deals, I've been brought in to some of the biggest deals ever, including Eva, just because of relationships.
Great point. A great example, use case we have. Thank you so much, Gary, for sharing that with your audience and other speakers as well.
Sure.
So basically, Raghu is also one of the speakers, investors on VCTV. Thank you. Vandana, over to you with the same question.
So definitely it is about relationships. It's not easy to, find out online completely, but somewhere we have to trust. And since we have built these relationships, it's easy to find out. I can tell you one example. On LinkedIn, a few months back, one of the founders had texted me with a term sheet that could you just look if this term sheet is fine and if the investor is an actual investor. And when I cannot give details, but I
Yeah.
said, I don't know what went into me. I also went and researched on it, and I did my own due diligence, and I found out that it was a fake term sheet. So I immediately informed him and I said, look, don't go for this deal. It's a fake deal. uh, and uh, and don't sign anything. So, I mean, I didn't know that person on because I was connected on LinkedIn, and he trusted me, and he told me to check the term sheet, and I did, and I could tell him that, look, don't sign it. That's all I could do.
Yeah.
So the thing is that it's about relationships. Initially, about 7 years ago, we had this business group where they used to train us that we need to meet face to face, one to one, and see the body language, do this, do that, and then understand, and then find out. Now we can't do that.
No.
So the way to do it is, if you have hands in other countries, you could just call them and say, look, I need to check on this. Can you help me out? And I'm sure they're going to be willing to, check it out. Not only that, you know, uh, you can actually find out when you are investing in a company by looking at their work that they have done, by checking the LinkedIn profile, by so many other things. There's a lot of social media that one can find out through. Also, you never know, the person already has contacts in that country or city, and can automatically find out about the person. So it's not difficult to do investments or easy, but I think we can manage our way there if we are in the right hands as well. And of course, when we are in this industry or any industry, one has to be a risk taker, and and take some risks, and then learn from them, and then move on. It's also about having the for me, I mean, these are my thoughts, that the right kind of pitch deck. So many people don't want to invest in the right kind of pitch deck. They don't want to get it done by a professional because they don't want to invest in. They think it's a waste of money, but it's actually not. To get it done by a professional, and do it in the right manner, I think you get the right document in hand, because many people, they don't know how to make a pitch deck. Video pitch decks, now the in thing is video pitch decks. I recommend all my startups to have a video pitch deck where they are speaking and talking, and their founders are pitching. So that's another way to pitch to investors, and
They
very
come and
important.
pitch on VCTV. And we can send the recording.
Yeah, and they can come and pitch on VCTV as well. So these things will help us get the right kind of investments. Reaching to people like us, we have the connections with the investors. So naturally, if we are sending a deal to any investor, they trust us more than the founder. So they think, like, supposing I'm sending a deal to Gary. If Gary
Yeah.
knows it's coming through me, he will
Yeah.
trust it more than if it's coming through some random person. Then
Yeah.
he will definitely say, okay, I'll have a look at it. Don't worry, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
So there. So I think, or if I'm sending, so I think deal to Sir Kingsley, and I tell him that it's through me. Definitely, because it's my connect, the founder and the investor. There's a trust factor there. you know uh, in fact, Sunny, even VCs recommend me to other VCs. So I got a call this morning. One VC had recommended me to another VC, and then I got a call. Look, I've heard a lot about you. Can we get on a call and discuss some business? And I'm like, okay. So I think when you do good work, it automatically shows. And it shows and it reflects, and then automatically you start getting work and build relationships on trust and close work. So I think that's the key factor. Also, I always feel that short term gain will never lead you anywhere. If you're looking for short-term gains, and you could, once you could succeed, twice you could succeed, but definitely the third time eventually people will find out. So I think it's better to look for a long-term gain and a long-term relationship. Be authentic as much as you can, and do your work, and then automatically things fall in place.
Yes, very, very rightly said. And Gary also said VCs do business through community, like, the strong community that we have built and the strong community that we are building on VCTV as well.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Gary. So I have this very important question coming from a startup who is looking to raise. So how to seek investment, where to seek investment, when to seek investment, and how much should I raise? Being an early stage company, bootstrapped. Yeah, so these are some of the questions. Kingsley?
How much do you raise depends on your project, depends on your region, depends on what you want to spend your money from. This depends on your business plan. What are your business plan? Are you starting an IT company, or are you starting healthcare, or are you going into farming? It depends. How much you want to raise actually depends on your project. When do you seek funding? You seek funding when you already have. If you are seed, we are talking about seed investors right now.
Yeah.
You already have your plans in place. You already have your marketing strategy. You already have your target market. And when you talk about target market, population comes into play. For example, if you take a country like Nigeria that have about 240 million people, or 246 officially, it's about that, and then you take a country with 6 million people. For example, your target market, if it's the age group, you're looking at 10% of each, right? So 10% of 6 billion and 10% of 246 billion. I will go for the 10% of 246 billion people. So population play a very vital role. Then if you are looking at India, you're looking at 1.7 billion people. So with the same opportunity, the goal, your target market gets bigger. So if you are targeting a very low population, I become more skeptical. So depending on the region you are from, your target becomes different. Now, if you are in Japan, for example, are you targeting the older people? Because you have older people in Japan, you have younger people in Nigeria. So what is your target point? What are you trying to solve? So these are how we look, we evaluate businesses. This is how my team will look at it. Okay, this is what they have, this, they have this, they have that. Okay, they are looking for $10 million. So if you're looking for $10 million for 6 billion people, I will like a little bit not fair. But if you are looking for $10 million for 200 million people, of course I'm going to give you $10 million because that business will work. The population will attract that business. Then, do you have plans to go out of the region globally? Do you have plans to do this in India or do this in your neighboring countries? Let's say if it's Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, Chad, do you have plans to expand? If you have plans to expand, that also increases the population you are targeting. So a lot of factors come into play while we are doing this. So it's very important that you have all this documentation ready for the investor to look at. You have the deck ready for the investor to look at. Not just saying, I did $500,000. For what? I'm just planning. You are still planning. You don't have a plan. So you should be ready with a plan for me to look at. Don't tell me that you are looking into. I'm trying to do this. No, you're not trying to. I already have this planned out, and this is my strategy. This is my marketing. This is my after marketing. This is what I'm going to be doing with your money, essentially. If I give you $5, you're going to tell me what you're going to do with that $5. You have to be accountable. So if I give my son $10, when my son comes back, he has to tell me what he used the money for, how he used the money, what is this change. If a young boy can do this, what happens with an adult who cannot tell me how he or she is going to spend the money? Or you ask them, how do you spend the money? I don't know. You have to be accountable. Some people are not accountable. If you are accountable for little money, you will also be accountable for bigger money. If you cannot be accountable for small money, you cannot be accountable for big money. It's very simple.
Yeah. Very good point. As Gary said, don't buy BMW.
No, you can buy them, but just don't buy them with other people's money that don't know
Exactly.
you're
Oh,
buying
yes,
them.
sorry.
If
Yeah.
I can buy them, wait a minute. I don't want the Germans coming after me.
You can buy you can buy BMW if you can afford it. Don't
Yeah.
buy
Yes.
BMW. Don't buy BMW with other people's money. Actually, there was an investor that flew in with a first class, stayed in a suite, and was looking for $10 million. And I said, "How much have you raised? $1 million. What about the $1 million? Oh, we have spent it. So you have spent the $1 million without achieving nothing, and you are living in a first class hotel, and you flew in first class. That already shows me that you are not willing. You are just using the money to have fun. You are not using the money for the project." So I'm like, okay, thank you, sorry. So
Yeah.
the thing to do matters.
Right. Yes, Gary, over to you. Timing, preparation. The timing is very important, right? When to seek that investment, when to actually reach out to that investor, because once you have a bad experience or maybe impression in the eyes of the investor, that's it. The deal doesn't go any further,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, I mean, that's why you go out and you develop you got to go use Guy Kawasaki's rules in terms of developing your presentation. Make sure your pitch has all the key elements. You've got the ask, you talk about the market, the target addressable market, who you are, and again, depending upon what level company, if you got revenue, what your financial model the next, you know, 2 to 3 years is going to look like, you got to make them feel comfortable. And the situation is, you got to spend time and money to do it. It's worth spending a little bit extra money to having somebody develop your PowerPoint presentation for you to help you make it interesting, because that's really going to be the face of who you are and what you're doing. So that part of it's important. The other thing is the team is really important. Who do you have on the team? And do you have really complementary skill sets? Do you have somebody that's a marketing person, somebody that's technical, somebody that's operations, and how do you work together? Have you worked together before? So just you got to develop the narrative. The other thing is we forget about it, but really important. What's helped me out a lot is that I look for the top advisors that I can possibly find. For
Right.
instance, what comes up every time is security and privacy, right, across the board. So I got the former chief security officer at Apple to go on my board of advisors. So it's not a question. I mean, I get them on a call and say, Rick, get on a call with me. Can you help? Sure, no problem. What are you going to say? The guy was the CSO of Apple and eBay. He's not the guy. He's the guy that got the iPhone for Steve Jobs when it was taken. And he's literally he worked with the FBI, that kind of guy. What comes up number two is the contacts. We talk about contacts. So Stanford University in the U.S. is the number one school, probably globally, in terms of for people all over the world coming in and for connections. IIT and other places, of course, but Stanford is the hallmark of it. So I find somebody from Stanford, somebody that's got name brand recognition as a VC, like a Bill Reichert. Bill Reichert's Guy Kawasaki's partner. And why? Because he went to Stanford and Harvard, two top schools, and he's one of the top VCs in Silicon Valley. This is not rocket science. I'm a country boy from Pennsylvania. This is like, you got to if you're going to go farming, you go in the right kind of field. So that's information. And then the third part of it is you look for somebody that's really recently had a lot of success. Somebody that I got Nick Davidoff. They sold Masquerade to Facebook. They started in December and sold in March for a lot of money. And so he got international visibility. I got him to be on the board. I call it the rule of threes. And when you do that, it covers those areas and it really helps. Part of it being successful, of building a really good startup, is the people that you get involved, that you give, equity to, advisors, to be able to help you grow your company, because you need their credibility. It's all about contacts.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about contacts and the trust. Thank you so much.
Trust, make sure you got your stuff together. Don't come up with it. I've had it happen in a not too long ago, where I've a really crappy presentation sent over with some of the startups, and I'm like, hello, do you think anybody's going to do anything? What do you mean? They can invest in tech. Dude, you didn't go down through, and you got a financial model for 10 years. or 15 years. It's crazy, right? And that's just not. And the problem is, that it's BS if you come up with a financial model that, so even over a year, you don't know what's going to happen. Come
Of
on,
course
you're
not.
just throwing darts at a dartboard, and you don't have a clue, right, Kingsley?
Absolutely.
Exactly. We have it. We have a few of that, and you're just like, you know what? I'm not going to bother myself because they can't even do the arithmetic. Their evaluation is off. You spend $10 billion. You're looking for $5 billion. Like, but you already spent $10 billion. So where's this one coming from? You know, you gotta get, like you said, you gotta get your things together. Get your things together.
Yeah, or the other thing is they do, it's really bad, is they'll have it set up so that they're raising funds, but the funds, you start doing the math with them about what their spend's going to be for marketing, business development, sales, and they don't have enough money. They're
They
saying
don't.
it's going to last, 18 months, and you do the calculations, it's like 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. It's crazy. So why is it bad? Because the average time it takes to raise a round is 6 to 9 months from the time you
Yeah,
get started. That's
exactly.
it. And people say, no, 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 we can do it faster. It's not. It's just 6 to 9 months. Yes, if you got contacts, you can bring. I've done it. You can do it. But in general, you got to stay with the rule. And the problem is, what happens is the CEOs get so wrapped up in raising money they can't run their business because it takes so much time, and they're so stressed out about it that they go from one raise to another raise, and there's nobody to run the company.
Yeah.
Guys, Gary have just given you a very good point. 6 to 9 months. That is free consultation. That is worth $1 million. So those of you coming up with 3 months, 90 days, 40 days, no. It's 6 to 9 months. Have your plans. Have a good point, Gary. Thank you very much. It's free for them to understand. I will have them for money for that.
Great. Thank you, Kingsley, for adding that on, and Gary emphasizing on the facts, on the points as well. It's not only one factor, there are several factors that can help you give that much needed investment. So yeah, Vandana, over to you. I know, Vandana, you also help startups not only raising funds, but with pitch deck, financial modeling. So yes, over to you with that same question.
Yes, so definitely we help the startups when they come to us. The first thing is we organize their write up, the pitch deck, the video pitch deck, the financial model, the valuation. Only
Yeah.
when we find them, appropriate and groomed well, then we take them to investors. So that's definitely the first step. The gentleman who's asked this question,
Right.
that how much he should raise, etc., he or she, I don't know who has asked it. So the thing is that we can't just tell you a random figure like that without knowing you and without knowing what is your product, without seeing what is your technology, what is the background, what is it that you're building, who is in your team, and what is it that you need. So you have to organize a lot of things when you go step into getting investments. And then that is why we investment bankers are there to help you out with the same. So feel free to reach out to us so that we can guide you as to what are the steps towards reaching to the investors. Also, are you doing cold calling to the investors after doing, so I think that is not allowed. You cannot do that. And definitely, and are you reaching to the right kind of investors? So what many founders do is they don't see the thesis of the investors. They don't understand the thesis. They've not read the website carefully, and then they just reach out to anybody. So I think again that is it. Are you reaching also to the right kind of VC funds, investors, HNIs, and how are you reaching out to them? Do you have any relationships? So all these factors one needs to take into consideration, and there's no fixed amount. Oh, you can get this much or that much, or naturally we have to do a lot of research and due diligence, and then we could help you out as to how much you need to raise. What is your revenue? Have you done your I mean, who are your customers? Do you have the drive to run your business? And again, is it to buy a car or
You guys like the car thing, don't you? I couldn't believe it. When I saw the car and he was so proud of it. I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, all these factors will really help you, and it's very important to have a CFO in your team, have an advisor in your team. It's really important, and people don't want to invest in the right team. People don't want to invest in a pitch deck. People don't want to invest in a financial model and getting the right kind of assistance. So I think naturally one cannot be expert in everything. Either somebody could be expert in marketing, somebody will be expert in finances, somebody will be expert in operations. So hence it's very important to have the right kind of team as well, that helps you grow and not helps you move backwards, helps you go in plus and not in minus. So if you have that kind of team and that kind of drive in you, definitely you could reach the skies and have a disruptive model, whether it's fintech, agri-tech, edu-tech, health tech, food tech, deep tech, AI, IoT, robotics, anything that is disruptive and that is solving a problem, definitely that is worth investments.
I think great points. I think the person who asked me the question is somebody who would like to remain anonymous. So it's okay, fair enough. But you got to know exactly from Vandana that it's very difficult for her to give you those numbers without looking at your pitch deck. I mean, a company as well. Thank you so much.
$10.
Oh gosh.
Maybe you want to buy lunch. We don't know.
There you go.
Wait a second. This is a new view for VCTV.
Anonymous.
You keep saying you're all alone, Vandana. Be careful. People want to connect online.
Yeah, you're right.
So we can find you, Vandana, now.
Yeah, Vandana.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, on my website, www.convanto.com. So I want to educate you how to use my website. There are buttons there, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. Kindly use those to reach out to me. Some people just leave random messages there on my website, and then we have to screen those messages out. So, these are the different ways to reach out to me. And of course, LATOKEN TV, I'm always here. You will every second day or every third day, I'm always here. So please feel free to reach out to me through these platforms.
Thank you so much, Vandana. Again, people know where you are. Thank you so much for sharing those details. Gary, thank you. So we can find you as well.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn and find me on Twitter. Like I said, check out my show later on today. I have one of the top quantum physicists in the world from Harvard, world renowned at 31 years old. So, Pranaya. So great to be here and great to see my friends and look forward to connecting. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Excellent. So you don't want $10 from Kingsley, do you? So where can you find Kingsley?
Sonny, thank you for having me again. I'm always happy to be here. Well, you can reach me through LATOKEN. You can reach me through Kingsley at kingsleykobayashi.com. You can reach me through LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I just have to warn you. They are all managed by my wife. So those of you saying you are in love with me, you want money from me for this, my wife sees the Facebook messages and sees the Instagram messages before me. So just be careful. I have nothing to hide. So she's in charge. Just to tell you.
You're covering your tracks now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I like that.
She's in charge of it, so I nothing to hide. Just go there and write something.
So just be very careful, guys, when you're reaching out to Mr. Kobayashi. Mrs. Kobayashi is behind.
Always,
Yeah.
always.
Okay, great, awesome, fantastic, nice. Again, it just feels so great to have Kingsley, Gary, Vandana on the same panel. I feel like I'm just talking to my own family members. I mean, literally, it's not.
It's actually a family. It's actually a
Yeah,
family, and it's a pleasure to be here always. And before we forget, prayers for those in
yeah.
India and around the world suffering from the COVID-19. We pray that they get well soon.
Yes, we all pray. We all agree with Kingsley. We all pray that please, especially obviously my country as well. People should get back to normal lives, and we are sending love, support from all over the world. Like Singapore is sending all the support needed in the medical field to India as well. So I'm sure US is doing the same. I read an article. So
Yeah,
yes, so we're sending all the love and support from all over the world to India, and we wish that people in India should recover. India should recover. It's a great country, great economy, great people. So we wish all the best. And thank you so much for being a part of VCTV all the time and supporting us. I'll be back again tomorrow on another episode of VCTV. Till then, stay safe. Thank you and take care of yourself. Bye bye.